Nashville, the epicenter of all things country music. I lived here for about 3 years or so now, and no, before you ask, I'm not actually an aspiring country music star. However, I am a lover of music, so I want to start this talk today by sharing 3 songs that have some surprising connections to one another. First is the famous anthem Respect, released by Aretha Franklin in 1967. Now, I want you to imagine this song's soulful melody with me, since, unfortunately, due to copyright laws, I'm unable to play it for you today. In this song, Aretha sings, R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me, an infectious tune that exudes confidence and serves as a reminder that even after a long day's work, you are still deserving of respect. Next up is the Rolling Stones' 1971 hit, Wild Horses. At 6 minutes, the song is pretty lengthy, but nonetheless catchy, with the main hook, Wild Horses Couldn't Drag Me Away, repeating several times throughout the song. In this one, this song helps, really showcases that in the face of resistance, one can remain strong-willed and ready to overcome any obstacle. Lastly, we've got I'll Take You There by the Staple Singers. This song in particular is the group's claim to fame, chugging along at a groovy 100 beats per minute. In addition, the song's memorable bass line and Colin Trump's chorus will take you on a journey to a safe and welcoming promised land. At this point, I know you're probably thinking, what do any of these songs have to do with one another, and better yet, why should I care? Well, if you need some help, I'll take you there. First, these songs are all from the 2020 US presidential election. To be exact, they're from Elizabeth Warren, Donald Trump, and Kamala Harris's campaign playlist, respectively. Second, these songs all have ties to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Now, while I recognize that the second point might not have much significance to you, it does to me, and I'll tell you why. Hello everyone, my name is Tommy Oswalt, and I'm from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. My hometown is a small, quaint city in the northwest corner of Alabama that has served as the home to countless hits from the late 60s and early 70s. Enough hits, in fact, that my town briefly held the title of Music Recording Capital of the World. Aretha Franklin, the Rolling Stones, and the Staple Singers were just a few of the many groups and artists that came to Muscle Shoals to record. As for me, I grew up in modern-day Muscle Shoals in a blended household. My mom is a Miami-raised sales rep with Cuban roots, and my dad is an Alabamian politician with a stereotypical Southern accent and a small up-and-coming sheep farm. Growing up, I learned a lot from these two. My mom would always introduce me to her favorite 1980s hits or Cuban classics, which is how I discovered my passion for music and learned that music can help give people joy, comfort, and even identity. As for my dad, who works in local politics, he would often take me with him on the campaign trail, going door-to-door meeting potential voters, or even attending local events. But even though my dad never ran for president of the United States, it was in these moments with him that brought me to first appreciate the art of campaigning and the rhetorical identity work that goes into politics. With the 2020 election taking place just 1 year from now, yes, let that sink in, 1 year from now, you've probably seen it happening already. Presidential hopefuls are being analyzed and critiqued at every angle in order to determine which candidate is the most electable, the most relatable, the most presidential, you name it. Everything they seem to be doing is either another point for them or against them. That is why today I'd like to invite you to rethink how we understand music and politics. More specifically, I'd like to invite you to rethink how presidential candidates use music as a way to create identity, convey policy, and connect it to the role that they're seeking. In doing so, I'd like you to leave the space today feeling empowered to engage in the soundscape of the 2020 US presidential election with a newfound critical lens. We are all affected in some way, shape, or form by politics, so it not only benefits those working in campaigning to understand how music can transform a politician. When you see a presidential candidate walk across stage at a campaign rally, there's music that has been intentionally curated to accompany that entrance. When you watch a political ad on YouTube, there's music that has been intentionally curated to play in the background of that ad. When you engage with a playlist link that a presidential hopeful tweets out, there's music that has been intentionally curated to represent and reflect that candidate's identity and values. This is rhetorical identity work, and it is important for everyone to be more cognizant of the rhetorical function that music has in politics. To demonstrate this, I'll spend the second half of my talk today dissecting 3 songs from a fairly recent campaign playlist, maybe one you're familiar with. President Obama's 2012 campaign playlist, which provided him with the sonic foundation he needed for a strong re-election campaign. In breaking down this playlist, I'll point out several things for you to listen to when you yourself are engaging in the music of 2020. From the Blues Brothers' Sweet Home Chicago, to Bruce Springsteen's We Take Care of Our Own, to Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered, this playlist offers us a multitude of examples of just how quick, smart, and simple it is for a presidential candidate to showcase who they are and and what they believe in through music. To start, let's take a look at the Blues Brothers' 1980 rendition of Sweet Home Chicago. Blues music, as a genre, found its origins in the Mississippi River Delta, migrating north and made its way all the way up to Chicago, President Obama's self-proclaimed hometown. This song, while not maybe the most recognizable tune, helps to emphasize an important part of President Obama's campaign, his origin story. As we know, after graduating from Columbia University, Obama moved from New York to Chicago to begin work as a community organizer. From there, he became even more rooted in the Chicago community, eventually becoming a faculty member at the University of Chicago Law School, meeting Mary Michelle, and serving 3 terms in the Illinois State Senate before becoming a U.S. Senator for Illinois. This song thus helped to remind voters in 2012 of his background and really show who he was before becoming a presidential candidate. Just like in the 2020 election cycle, you too can listen for music that showcases a candidate's background or origin story. Just as an example, 21% of Julian Castro's campaign playlist features Latin artists, underscoring his position as the only Latinx candidate in the race. Songs such as Baila Esta Cumbia by Selena even have exclusively Spanish lyrics. Next up from Obama's playlist, we've got We Take Care of Our Own by Bruce Springsteen. In this one, Springsteen expresses his unhappiness at the world's lack of generosity, especially when times are tough. However, despite the song's bleak premise, it takes an optimistic turn in the chorus, saying, "Wherever this flag is flown, we take care of our own." For President Obama, this helps to underscore another important aspect of his campaign, his policies. In his first 4 years of office, President Obama really emphasized the social responsibility that he believes the government has in taking care of its citizens, from his passing of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act in 2009 to his passing of the Affordable Care Act in 2010. As he made his way on the campaign trail in 2012, he continued to emphasize the social responsibility, both in his policy proposals and campaign music. With 2020 candidates still unveiling their own policy proposals, take a listen to their campaign playlists and see if you can draw any interesting connections yourself. For instance, with Elizabeth Warren's playlist, many of her songs reflect her policies aimed at supporting working class voters. Her walkout song, 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton, is a prime example of this. Lastly, we've got the song probably most closely associated with the Obama presidency, Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Stevie Wonder. This 1970 hit stars a man proclaiming his love for a woman who is his heart's only desire, leading to a refrain where he says, "Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours." As Dana Borzolini-Mostek, a scholar and professor of music at Georgia College, puts it, the speaker's pronouncement, "I'm yours," rather than "you're mine," puts the addressee in the dominant position, not the speaker. For President Obama, this helps to underscore his belief that politics should be this intimate relationship between a political figure and the constituency. Then, through the song's lyrics, Obama is able to commit himself to public servitude in America, let America take charge in shaping our shared future. While not every presidential candidate will illustrate their relationship to the presidency the same way Obama did, many candidates are still using music that frames themselves in relationship to the presidency in America. Take Donald Trump's playlist, for example. A song like We Are the Champions by Queen, really, like in the context of the US and the election, boasts strong patriotism and also reflects Trump's signature self-congratulatory nature, both towards himself and America. And so to quickly recap these 3 things to listen for in the US 2020 election. First, listen for music that highlights a candidate's background or origin story. Second, listen for music that connects a candidate to their policy proposals. And third, listen for music that demonstrates a candidate's envisioned relationship to America and the presidency. As the 2020 election draws nearer and nearer, many people will choose to tune out the noise of politics. However, today I would like to challenge you to do something daring, something radical, something that could change the future of America and politics as we know it. Tune in. Thank you.